part 17 of reading all of the Penguin Modern box set books and giving each of them a 1 to 5 star rating. Number 17 was Create Dangerously by Albert Camus. This is a collection of 3 speeches, and the first one was Create Dangerously, which is about art and socialism. From what I could gather, because let's be real, you need crazy comprehension skills to understand Albert Camus, but from what I understood, he was basically saying that art should be created authentically and with cause and as a means to uplift the people that are more disadvantaged. He also says that in the past, art was more self-serving, like you created art because it was beautiful and not because there was like a message behind it, like no political stance per se. Whereas he argues now anything you create will have a stance for or against something, so to be silent is dangerous and therefore you should create authentically and to uplift people. It's basically a call to not hold back when making art and also a reminder that humans make things with the intent of it being for all. Not gonna lie, the first speech took me a while to process, and I'm not necessarily into debating art. I think the moment you start debating it is the moment that you limit it. I think it's just a form of self-expression and you should just leave it at that. But I'm no Albert Camus, so what do I know? The other 2 speeches were In Defense of Intelligence and Bread and Freedom. The 2 stories were harder to understand because you do need a bit of background knowledge in French history. It's sad because I did Geschichte Leistungskurs and our emphasis was French history, and I did not retain much of it apparently. It would have been helpful to remember some of those history details when reading these. In Defense of Intelligence is very self-explanatory. He argues for people to have intelligence, especially in the post-Mustache Man era. Hatred has been brewing among the French people for too long, and in order to get over their hate, they must reclaim their intelligence. He also says a dictatorship begins when intelligence ends, and that in order for the enemy to be up, intelligence needs to be down. The last speech was called Bread and Freedom, and it was also very relevant to American times. It talks about freedom, more specifically like liberty, but how it's connected to your socio-economical standing and your government, and how in order to have freedom, to have liberty, you also need to have your standard needs met. For instance, to have bread. And he also says that freedom is not something that you just have or is like given to you, but it's something that you go after actively to keep. Overall, I think I like the message in this. It's something that I think is really relevant, but unfortunately the people that should read this probably will never know it exists. It's informative, but I don't really like Albert Camus, and I don't like being talked at rather than talked with or talked to, so 3.25 out of 5. The next book I've already started, it's somewhere in the house, but it's The Vigilante by John Steinbeck. Bye!